Yo, what's up guys? This is Rise and welcome to another video. The Go Battle League is about to change as it does every week on Friday, and what we have this upcoming week is Master League and another week of the Spring Cup. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the top Master League teams that you can run to try and gain ELO this coming week. This month, I believe, is Women's History Month, so my good friend Inadequence thought it'd be a cool idea to feature some of the top women battlers in the community, and we have a graphic for you to get you going in this upcoming Go Battle League week. I'm gonna scoot over here as we look at the teams, and just a lot of tremendous battlers you're gonna see on this graphic. And I know that Master League might not be the most accessible for everybody, me included. I only have a handful of Master League Pokemon that I am able to use, but I think this would be helpful if you are someone that has the resources, or maybe you have a handful of these Pokemon that could help you give an idea of what to run this coming week. So here we go. We're going to start off with Kim, aka For the Battles, an OG member of the community. I'm trying to size this up. I think I'll go like that. And Kim is running Kyogre with Primarina and Togekiss. So a bit of a toxic line, I gotta say, to start things off. Double Charm, but don't hate the player, hate the game. And Kyogre is going to be like your anti-steel type, has a very good matchup against things like Metagross, against things like Excadrill or Landorus, and then you have your Double Charm back line. Primarina, probably the safe swap to lure things out, and then Togekiss the sweeper, or it could really go either or in that scenario. So a pretty standard ABB type line from Kim from For the Battles, who's a tremendous battle. I think hit like front page leaderboard, maybe even like top 10 last season. So always a force to be reckoned with in the PvP scene. And we're going to move on to Susie. Susie, a legendary judge in the Play Pokemon circuit. I think I had the pleasure of meeting Susie at NAIC last season. Very nice gal, and she is running Florges, Giratina, and Lugia. So Double Dragon, and sorry, not Double Dragon. Lugia is like basically a dragon, right? But it's actually a flying and psychic type. Giratina is the dragon. And this team I liked when I saw it because it seems very flexible to me. All three of these Pokemon, Florges, Giratina, and Lugia, I'd say are three of the more flexible Pokemon in the Open Master League. If I had a Florges, I would probably run this myself. I have a Giratina, I have a Lugia, don't have a Florges built, so that's something I'd need to work on. But I like the concept of this team where you have three very flexible mons, and Giratina and Lugia especially are very bulky and can absorb a lot of damage before they go down. So I like this squad. Fairy, you're also double weeks of Dark in the back, so you have the Fairy to catch hopefully any dark types you may see and maybe lure them out with one of your two safe swaps. And now we go on to Miss Mish. Mish, very cool girl in the community. She is running Reshiram, Landorus, and Xerneas. Xerneas I'm a huge fan of personally as a Pokemon in the Master League. I think it's one of the best Pokemon because its versatile moveset of its exclusive Geomancy and then Close Combat and Moonblast allows you to be a Fairy type that can also beat the Steel types with access to Close Combat. So pretty ridiculous coverage and moveset there. And then, of course, the hard-hitting same type attack bonus on that Moonblast can be ever so threatening against things like Dragon types or in neutral matchups in general. Also, the Reshiram, that Fire subtyping with the Dragon, is really nice. It can kind of handle your Fairy types with that Fire subtyping. And because of your weakness to ice as a dragon, fire covers that. So those two typings cover each other quite well. Dragon covers the water for fire. Really nice typing, in my opinion, on the Reshiram. And Landorus, as it got that Sandsear Storm, which is an icy wind clone, but ground typing, going to be able to debuff opposition and make it a nightmare for your opponents if you get stuck on a Landorus and they keep debuffing you and all of a sudden your moves are doing less and less damage. Only 5 mud shots to every Sandsear Storm. Very spammy Pokemon as well. So shout out to Mish. Very solid looking team from her. We go on to Miss Bubble Mouse. Big fan of Bubble Mouse. Really nice woman in the community, and she is running Landorus with a Dialga safe swap and Palkia origin form. So we're going to see a few of these origin forms come into play after we had that recent Sinnoh Tour and event. Lando in the lead. I used to be really fearful of Lando's in the lead with my team because they had the option to superpower and dip, which immediately put me behind. But now they're typically not going to be running superpower. Lando is even stronger now, in my opinion, with that debuffing move, as we talked about just a moment ago, of Sanseer Storm. And you have that Stone Edge coverage for flying types. Then you've got the double dragons in the back. We've got Palkia with its option now for its exclusive move from the Sinnoh Tour. And Dialga has to be the origin form, right, to have that exclusive Roar of Time, which is going to be so devastating. Also, opting for the best buddy on Dialga. You Master League experts and specialists probably know like certain break points and bulk points, and that's where you get into like the advanced parts of PvP, and a lot of the top trainers know their bulk points and their bulk points and their break points, where that best buddy boost can help benefit certain matchups on certain Pokemon. Also in the Master League, you typically want to opt for the Hundo IV if you have it, of course, to reach that maximum level. So the best buddy can help you win the charge attack priority if you have it in the mirror match. Awesome team from Bubble Mouse. And then we move on to Andres, a terrific battler from España. Andres, I had the pleasure of meeting in Japan, and she has been so consistently great in different play Pokemon formats. I believe she qualified for Worlds, one of the first Spaniards to do so this season. And she is running that's the origin form of Dialga, right? Looks kind of funky, looks kind of cool, kind of sleek, and running it alongside a Solgaleo and Galarian Zapdos as well. So a bit of a spicy team from Andres, and she, yeah, and it'd be fun to see her play this team because Galarian Zapdos you're not going to see off in the Master League. I think we did feature a Galarian Zapdos on the channel before in the Open Master League, so it'd be fun to see some gameplay. Andres, if you're watching this, send me some footage. I'd love to showcase this team in a YouTube video. But yeah, Dialga along with Solgaleo and Galarian Zapdos. Fun-looking team. Solgaleo on the safe switch. Super bulky, has access to Psychic Fangs, which can debuff your opponent's defense, make things uncomfortable for them. And Solgaleo with that Fire Spin as well has ability to fight back in matchups where you'd think it would struggle, right? You'd think it'd struggle against like an Excadrill taking super effective from Drill Run. But not so much. Those Fire Spins add up really quickly. Kind of one of the forgotten buffs of past seasons. Sorry, my monitor is really tiny, so I'm struggling to see. Betsy and Calvin. Hello, Betsy. I'm not as familiar with Betsy, but a Master League specialist by the subtitle and running a very cool-looking team of Primarina, along with Palkia origin form and a closer of that Best Buddy Landorus Therian form. So Best Buddy Landorus for the mirror, as the notes state. Palkia and Lando will cover each other quite well. You got the ground, you got the dragon, and Primarina, just kind of your consistent lead. There's so many dragons, right? There's so many dragons in the Master League. It's probably the most common typing you are going to see. So Primarina, a strong lead to help line up against those dragons. You also have a positive matchup against Kyogre if you see Kyogre, and so on. So shout out to Betsy and Calvin. Like I said, not as familiar with Betsy, but always cool to meet new people in the community. So shout out to Betsy for the team submission. And yesterday saying, rocking the closer of the Pokemon that no one likes to see in the Master League. That is Zygarde, the complete form, where it is just extremely bulky. Lugia used to be the bulkiest Pokemon in the Master League. It's extremely bulky itself. Zygarde even bulkier than Lugia, the highest stat product in the game, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe if you include like Megas, there could be something with more, but just an incredibly bulky Pokemon that can be frustrating to play against, but it's extremely good as well. And you've got Xerneas and the origin form Dialga. So really strong looking team. The notes suggest Dialga baits out the fairy types and opens the door for Zygarde in the back. If you don't have a Zygarde, she suggests Rayquaza as a substitute for that Pokemon. So I'm sure many of you guys don't have a Zygarde. I don't have a Zygarde myself. Rise, I don't know what to do. I want to run that team, but I don't have a Zygarde. Well, Rayquaza is probably not going to be as good as Zygarde, but offers similar types of coverage that could help you out in that scenario. Dude, it's thunderstorming outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that. There's just some loud thunder crashing. Someone used thunder. Oh my gosh, Dialga used thunder in the Master League. And Xerneas, as I talked about earlier, one of my faves. Shout out to yesterday's Saiyan. She also streams, by the way. She's from Tokyo. I don't think I had the opportunity to meet her in Japan, which is really unfortunate, but it would be cool to meet her one day. Tracy Lease, a fellow PvP enthusiast. I would consider myself such as well. And she is running Ho-Oh as well as Zacian and Dialga. So, all three just tremendously strong Pokemon. I think one reason I like Ho-Oh a lot as a lead is the ability to Brave Bird and Dip, of course. And Zacian being so safe is going to really benefit up shield. So Ho-Oh as a lead to draw shield, that's just my first impression of this team. And then saving shield advantage for your backline just seems super strong, super effective, pun intended. And she seems to be opting for quick attack, play rough, wild charge to make Zacian as the best possible safe switch. So no close combat there, which may make it not as good as like a counter swap into a Dialga, for example, but wants it to be as safe as possible. And that way you're not going to get walled against things like Giratina Origin if you're running close combat wild charge. So probably gives you the safest matchups, but maybe some matchups not quite as dominant without that close combat. Also, Origin form Dialga can opt as the safe swap as well. Or no, not as the safe swap. Can opt for that instead of the regular Dialga. Roar of Time. I want to see some Roar of Time. So if anyone's still watching this, feel free to send me your Origin Dialga videos. I want some of that content, please. Next, Mama Climbs. We recently featured her on the channel, and Johanna is running Therian. Dude, I'm like playing. I just said it so many times. Therian Landorus, as well as Zacian and Zekrom. Have we seen a single Zekrom? I don't think so, but a really strong Pokemon with access to Fusion Bolt, really strong electric move there lurking in the back. And yeah, this seems more like an ABC type team. These three Pokemon all with wildly different typings and coverages. So more of an ABC as opposed to an ABB where you kind of have one thing to cover the two back Pokemon. Versatile, and it's always fun, in my opinion. It's a little bit more fun and balanced when you have a team where you don't necessarily have to swap to lure something out. I will run those teams myself where you kind of have to swap to lure something out, but I prefer when I can run a team where I'm not forced to swap out, where I can just kind of play it, even if it's a neutral lead, play it out and not be forced to give up switch advantage. Some of the notes say Zekrom walls Ho-Oh and Kyogre as well versus Palkia. Dialga is tricky, but can be overcome with energy and shields. I can see that for sure, because both of the lead Pokemon have some nice play against Dialga, with Zekrom being the only one that struggles. And that looks like it'll do it for you. Shout out to Inadequance for reaching out to all these lovely women battlers, and I am happy to showcase their teams where they all know more than me when it comes to the Master League, that's for sure. And I hope you guys found this video helpful, insightful. If you did, make sure to drop a like on the video, comment down below. All comments are appreciated. I will leave a link to the full graphic over on Inadequance's Twitter. And all that said, thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next